Well, I mean, we run an HR firm, right? So I'm going to ask you a super HR question.
Okay.
And that is, how has your career, your background prepared you to be successful as a city commissioner in Portland?
Yeah, well, really two hats when you're talking about public service as a city commissioner. First of all, private sector. I've been in the private sector my entire professional career, have done major transactions at a major law firm, then in-house in a corporate strategy and a corporate management role where you're overseeing big budgets, you're building a common vision and measuring against it and driving performance against it.
Right.
I think all of those experiences lend themselves really well to overseeing bureaus in the city of Portland. And as your audience likely knows, under our current form of government, city commissioner oversees a number of bureaus. These are substantial budgets. These are substantial management obligations and responsibilities. And we have a tendency to elect advocates. I think having some actual experience in managing budgets, managing teams is crucially important in our current form of government. I'm also a small business owner. The last 10 years I've owned my own shop, first a law firm and then a little technology company underneath it. So real skin in the game in terms of the experience of business owners in the city, what it takes to survive this town through all the ups and downs. And as a parent and just a person who's lived their entire adult life here, there's a level of skin in the game. The other side is my community involvement over the years. So, you know, I don't think, I think sometimes folks in the private sector go in with a little bit of arrogance into
taking it. Right?
You lived it, right? It's like, you know, you think because you figured out in the private sector that will automatically carry over into government or into other public service. And you know, throughout my professional career, I've been super engaged in community activities, Portland Children's Museum Board, Library Foundation Board, built the largest youth soccer club in the state. And that gives you different angles, right? So you're not just a leader as a commissioner. You have to collaborate. You have to find common ground. You have to get to 3 votes. And I think, and Peter Drucker's old business writer, he often commented that the private sector has as much to learn from some of our non-for-profit entities as the nonprofit entities have to learn from the private sector. And his point was around collaboration. You can't just command everything in the nonprofit world and community service world. You've got to build consensus. You've got to collaborate. And so I think both those sort of experiences, that extensive private sector background, managing all from small to very big, you know, $1 billion company. I was led strategy for a year there. You know, see big picture, what it takes to manage at scale and the unique challenges there. I think that lends itself very well to city management of bureaus. On the other hand, the ability to collaborate, the ability to find common grounds, both crucial. One last piece. The schools fights to reopen that I led statewide, you know, as we were emerging from the pandemic, really tough public health issue, right? You know, how do you safely reopen schools in a pandemic? As you're adjusting to new data as you go, and we learn more about the disease and what others are doing successfully. And we eventually were successful in lobbying the governor to mandate the reopening of public schools. But what we did is stay very focused on data. We stayed very focused on agreed upon facts and spent the time and the energy and doing the work to find common ground. We did that in a bipartisan way with people from across the state. And I think that's got to be a part of how we confront some of these more difficult challenges that I think we're going to talk about that the city's facing, that we really focus on the facts and we put in the time to find common ground on agreed upon facts. That doesn't mean we're going to agree on everything, but we've got to come together on the more difficult issues and not just scream from the mountaintop. We've got to find the way to, you know, find common understanding of the facts.